It's episode 62 of the Hodgepodge podcast. I'm your host, Doug.
And I'm Dirty A. As the name suggests, we're going to talk about a hodgepodge of topics from movies, music, TV, and other pop culture events.
And on this episode, it's our special Best Films of 2014. You can reach us at the hodgepodgepodcast@gmail.com or over on our website, thehodgepodgepodcast.com, or search for us on YouTube and iTunes and subscribe. And finally, we've come to our Best of 2014 episode. It is now January 18th.
Sure wish that they would release 2014 movies in 2014.
Yes, that's right. We finally saw the last few that we had to see. Inherent Vice, Selma, and American Sniper. We just saw American Sniper this past weekend. We will be actually reviewing American Sniper on our next episode. I will say it made a shit ton of money.
Wow.
It made over $90 million in the first 3 days of Martin Luther King.
January, folks. I mean, this is that's incredible.
Yeah. The original title holder for January was last year's Ride Along, which made like $40 million.
I mean, it wasn't even close.
Yeah,
it's
so
just ridiculous.
That's like summer money. This movie. Well, I actually went to go see.
I guess some folks had some New Year's resolutions to see some more movies.
I guess I went to go see Inherent Vice again yesterday, and I went to like the 12:05 showing, and they already had a sign up in the box office that said "No more Sniper for tonight." So they were already sold out for that night.
Wow.
Last night. Yeah, it was crazy. So so that made a lot of money. Also, the Oscar nominations came out last week. A little disappointing. I would say the biggest snub as far as Best Picture goes was for Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler didn't get nominated, which was deserved, I think. Jake.
I mean, for Best Actor. For sure. The movie, I guess maybe I can see how the movie itself might get looked over. I don't agree with that, but I can. Right. You may be able to make an argument for that with some other movies.
Right.
But the fact that Gyllenhaal didn't get nominated for Best Actor is just, it blows my fucking mind.
Yeah. The other huge snub was that David Oyelowo didn't get nominated for Selma for Best Actor, which is a fucking crime.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Instead, Steve Carell and Bradley Cooper got nominated. Steve Carell for Foxcatcher, Bradley Cooper for American Sniper. Both did a great job, but
they did.
They
really
weren't as good as Oyelowo in
he was really good. If you haven't seen Selma yet, check it out. But he's really, really, it kind of embodies MLK in that movie.
Also, the director of Selma also didn't get nominated.
Nope.
Ava DuVernay.
No, basically the movie got its nomination, and the Academy was like, "That's it," almost washing their hands of the rest of it. So.
The most nominations were snagged by Birdman and by Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah.
Which is that's pleasant to see.
Yep.
Another huge snub that we were really pissed about.
Headlines everywhere read, everything is not awesome.
Yeah, the Lego Movie was not nominated for Best Animated Movie.
What the fuck?
Now, if you've seen the movie, you know that there is a live-action component, but...
It's minimal.
But it's at the end of the movie.
This is an animated movie.
It's an animated movie.
And not only is it an animated movie, it's probably the funniest animated movie of the year. The most engaging animated movie of the year.
It was probably the funniest movie of the year, hands just straight up.
Oh, we'll talk about that later, but
we'll see.
So, but yeah, it that is absurd that didn't get nominated.
Yeah,
absolutely absurd. I can't even. There's no argument. There's no argument for that not getting nominated.
The only thing that I think that may have happened is that the Academy didn't want to nominate a movie called Lego Movie, and they saw it as just a crass corporate cash grab, and that's what people thought. That's what people thought.
More than likely, they didn't see it at all.
Probably. I think that's what people thought before it came out. But then, I mean, I know when I saw it, I was really surprised.
I guarantee you, these Hollywoodites that are voting for this shit, they didn't even see this movie at all. They didn't even give it the time of day.
Probably not.
Because as we all know, when they vote for these things, they don't see all the movies.
No, they don't.
So they just check boxes. So.
Yeah. So those are the big Oscar snubs.
And they're big. Those are big.
Those are big ones. I can't believe that Oyelowo didn't get nominated for Martin Luther King. I mean, and it was funny because after the nominations came out, I was still editing our last episode, and we were like, "Oh, he's a lock. He's a total lock."
Well, I said the same thing. We said the same thing about Nightcrawler, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
I'm honestly, I'm more pissed about that because he was so fucking good in that movie.
Yeah, the Best Picture nominees were American Sniper, Birdman, Boyhood, Grand Budapest Hotel, Imitation Game, Selma, Theory of Everything, and Whiplash.
I heard that. I heard that when you said Boyhood.
Yeah.
I heard that little tinge in your voice. It's a very good movie. It's a very, very good movie, but I just feel that they did not distinguish between how this movie was made and the finished product itself.
Yeah, we were. Actually, a friend of mine posted. He posted on Facebook. He's like, Boyhood is a tedious fucking movie. And I'm like, yes, thank you. I'm like, it's good. It's a good movie, but it's not Best Picture.
I'll concede that Linklater should get the nomination and maybe even be a heavy favorite as the director for the idea. That is what needs to be considered for that, but not the movie itself.
Yeah.
And again, we said this during our podcast of the movie because it's gotten such stellar reviews.
Right.
It is not that it's a bad movie.
It's not.
It's an extremely good movie and very well made. But Best Picture worthy,
not really.
Nah.
And then here's another weird thing that happened with the nominations. Foxcatcher didn't get nominated for Best Picture, but Bennett Miller got nominated for Best Director. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, ever.
Huh.
I mean, we've seen in the past
vice versa. You see the reverse of that.
Yeah, we've seen that in the past where the Best Picture gets nominated, but then the guy doesn't get nominated for Best Director. But then I guess that then you would have to slide somebody else in there, I guess. But it's just bizarre.
It's bizarre, but I don't think Foxcatcher deserved a Best nomination for Best.
Oh no, it did. Yeah. No, it didn't. But if that's the case, then he shouldn't be nominated for Best Director.
Yeah. It's true. It's what you'd almost say it's one of those things that go hand in hand, but then you could say the same thing for Boyhood.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, and I hate to come crashing down on Boyhood every time I talk about it.
Right.
I do think it's a very good movie.
Right.
But there are just a lot of worthier movies.
Yeah.
And I mean, Boyhood is steamrolling. I mean, it's winning everything. Linklater and Boyhood are just steamrolling through these all these awards that are coming out now. So it's got a full head of steam heading into the Oscars.
Yeah. So with that, let's break down our list of the best films. What we thought were the best films of 2014.
So the best films of 2014,
right?
Because everyone knows.
I Frankenstein is my number one. No.
What a coincidence.
No, as usual, we'll run them down from the bottom to the top. I know you had a hard time with your list. My list, because I do the reviews on the site, I basically just took all the B pluses and all the A, from A to B plus. I just threw them all in a pot, and then I just sorted through them and then just picked out the ones that were the most worthy, the best ones of the pot. And I had quite a few A minuses that didn't even make the cut. So it's that's how many good movies there were this year.
A lot of good movies.
I mean, there were a lot of really, really good movies, and we've discussed this on the podcast before. There's a lot of really, really good movies this year, but nothing that really was wow, this movie is incredible. So
that was kind of Guardians for me, but that's just for different reasons.
Right? Yeah.
But as far as the impact of a full movie goes, yeah. And it's funny because when before we started coming up with the list, I even forgot how many good movies there were.
Yeah.
But they really snuck in there this year.
So do you want to start?
Sure.
All right.
I had a real problem with my number 10. I waffled. It changed constantly.
I know this saga very well.
Constantly it changed. In the end, though, because it's so close, and because I already know that Birdman is going to get a lot of attention anyway, I'm going to push that down to my honorary mention.
Wow.
Yeah. And my number 10 goes to the best horror movie of the year.
Oh, okay.
And just a freaking phenomenal movie that most people haven't even heard about yet. It's called Babadook.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
It's an Australian horror movie.
Okay.
And it's just it's kind of a mix of a psychological horror and actual real like monsters.
Right.
It was such a good movie. I've like seen it 5 times already.
Wow.
I mean, it's really really good. It's got a awesome creepy atmosphere. The mother in it. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know the cast names or anything, but the mother in it she's an amazing Australian actress, and she could have deserved a nomination herself in my book, but so I'm going to throw that in as my number 10, if not because it's a great movie, to kind of boost it up a little bit, because I think people should watch this movie. It's really fucking awesome.
Cool.
I even have pre-ordered my copy of the Babadook pop-up book.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's a good one. It is a horror movie, so it's genre specific in that way, but it is just such a well-made movie, and kind of hits on all cylinders within that genre and beyond.
Nice.
So that's my number 10.
Okay. Well, my number 10, I did not see Babadook because I don't watch horror films.
Yeah, there, fair enough.
But my number 10 was kind of we'll say a societal horror movie. We just spoke about it in the snubs at the Oscars. My number 10 was Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes.
This movie was fuck nuts crazy.
Yeah.
There is this like tension throughout the whole movie that you're just like on the edge of your seat the whole time. And it was just really, really well made. Jake Gyllenhaal is fantastic in this movie.
Rene
Russo's really good in it. She plays his boss. We gave it high marks when we talked about it on the review.
Yep.
When did it come out? October, I guess?
Yeah, it was October.
October, November.
Maybe it was the end of September, but it was certainly October,
yeah. Yeah, it's just a really, really well-made movie. It's written and directed by Dan Gilroy. He is the brother of Tony Gilroy, who worked on the Bourne movies and all that kind of stuff. Dan Gilroy actually worked on Bourne Legacy, the Jeremy Renner one. He had a hand in the script. It's his first movie he directed, and it's really, really stellar first shot. He just very, very great, creepy atmosphere. Jake Gyllenhaal is fantastic. He just plays a total sociopath.
I mean, this whole movie and the cast, the whole credit, you like when you're in the audience. I mean, you just feel uncomfortable.
Oh yeah,
like you just.
Oh yeah.
There's specific scenes, but the whole movie,
yeah,
you feel uncomfortable even watching what's happening. I mean, it is brilliant.
Yeah, his Jake Gyllenhaal's character is a scumbag in this movie.
Yeah.
Lou Bloom, and he
certainly can rationalize.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. So that was my pick for number 10, Nightcrawler.
Yeah, that's a very solid pick. Again, ultra snub for Jake Gyllenhaal for not getting nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Best Actor.
Yeah.
Because
you could even argue that Steve Carell should have been Best Supporting Actor.
Right?
Because
Jake Gyllenhaal,
that movie's really about
he was the
Channing
movie.
Tatum.
He was the movie and phenomenally played.
Yeah.
Well, that's a solid pick. Let's move on to my number 9. Is another movie that actually hasn't made it out in the States yet.
Right.
But it is a New Zealand-based movie that will probably make it out in the States. I think it's February, March of this year. And it's called What We Do in the Shadows. This movie is so funny. Mm-hmm. I've probably watched it 6 times now.
Wow.
5 or 6 times already. I can almost quote the whole thing already. But
wow.
Like it is so funny. So the premise of this movie, without giving a review, because it is not known, very well known over here, this is a mockumentary type of comedy that is about a group of vampires living in a flat together.
Right.
So they're kind of all roommates, and hijinks ensue kind of deal. But it was written and directed by Jermaine Clements from Flight of the Conchords fame, and done some other movies.
He was also Men in Black 3.
No, he was that. And he and his partner, I'm going to mess this name up, but it's Taika Waititi. Mm-hmm. They're kind of writing, directing partners together. They've done another movie that's actually pretty good called Eagle vs. Shark. But they both wrote and directed this movie, and I mean, it had me in stitches. Every time I watch it, I laugh, but like the first time you watch it, you don't stop laughing for 90 minutes. It's, to me, funniest movie of the year.
Well, all right.
I'm sorry. Funniest movie of the year. I saw an article where someone likened it to the Spinal Tap of vampire movies, which I thought was pretty.
That sounds accurate from what I've seen in the trailer.
Yeah. It is super funny, and I urge anyone, over the next month or two when it comes out to.
I forget what month we said. We talked about our 2015
it's
preview.
February.
Yeah.
To watch this movie, they actually have a Kickstarter right now trying to. I think they're just trying to fund it in theaters because likely it will probably just be released direct to DVD because this is a very low budget movie. But this goes to show you that writing is king. If you have good writing, you can make a very good movie.
Yeah.
And this proves it. If you're a fan of Jermaine Clement, then you're gonna, obviously you would likely like this movie.
Right.
It is not a horror movie. It just falls in that genre of vampire movies.
Right.
So in that aspect, it is. But it's just a super funny comedy.
Right. Cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Like I said, we talked about that in our 2015 preview.
Yeah, February 13th is the official date in the U.S.
There you go. Is it going to VOD?
Technically, no. Right now, It is supposedly going to hit theaters, but my guess is it will be extremely limited, or they'll push it to direct to
VOD.
VOD, as I mentioned earlier with the Kickstarter. They're trying to raise a lot of money to get this covered a little more widely in the U.S.
Okay,
so
cool.
We'll see what happens, but seek this out.
Yeah, cool. My number 9 is a film that in retrospect is very poignant, but on the surface was just a really great spy thriller. And this was one of my picks for the best of the summer. All my picks for the best of summer made it onto my list for the best of 2014. It just shows how great the movies were this summer.
Yeah.
But my number 9 is A Most Wanted Man, which it's poignant because it was basically the last starring role that Philip Seymour Hoffman had.
Yeah.
It's based on a John le Carre novel, directed by Anton Corbijn, who is the famed photographer and director. He's worked with U2, Depeche Mode.
Started out in like music videos.
Yeah, he started as just a music photographer. Then he went into videos. Then he's done like concert videos for concert movies for Depeche Mode, and then he designs their stages and all this kind of shit. And then he got into directing with the Joy Division movie Control, which was depressing as hell. And then he also did The American with George Clooney. Yeah. So this is his third.
Another good movie.
Yeah, that was really good. This is his third feature. And it's just, you basically just take Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and just streamline it, and then that's A Most Wanted Man.
Yeah, without taking away anything.
Without taking away anything. Yeah. Just kind of stripping away kind of the labyrinthine nature of the story.
Yeah.
Hoffman plays Gunther Bachmann, who is a German spy master.
Pitch perfect.
And he's fantastic. And after seeing this movie, it made me even more angry that he died, because I would have loved, even though le Carre didn't do another novel with the character Bachmann, they could have easily done another movie with Gunther Bachmann.
I would say even that to a smaller degree, it's a little snub that there wasn't room for a nomination for him. He was really good. He was really good.
He was really, really good in this movie. He was really good. I mean,
like I said, it's not a surprise, and it's easily an arguable nomination at best. But
best actor is always real tough to squeeze.
Absolutely.
But you have to wonder that if this movie came out in the fall, maybe
you never know.
Because they also snubbed. I would say they snubbed Ralph Fiennes too, because Ralph Fiennes,
for sure, for Grand Budapest.
Grand Budapest.
Yeah.
They probably should expand the actor categories, but that's another topic. But But Most Wanted Man, this is out on Blu-ray now. Definitely check this movie out.
So
it's got Rachel McAdams is in it. She's really good as a lawyer who's trying to help this guy who may or may not be a terrorist. Daniel Bruhl is in it for like 5 seconds. Like, you blink and you miss him, but he's in it. He's one of Bachman's team.
Yep.
And
why do I always forget his freaking name lately? I don't know why. Green Goblin.
Oh, Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe's in it.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe's in it. That's right. He plays a banker. Yeah, and he's really good in it. Just a really, really expertly made film. And if you like pot boiler, just like slow burn spy stories, you'll definitely.
I call it a real spy story.
Yeah,
this isn't your James Bond bullshit, which I love. By the way, but this is real. This is
this is what it's probably like really in real life.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, we just before the podcast we were discussing how I finally finished season 2 of House of Cards. Robin Wright is also in this film. She plays a CIA operative.
She's pretty good at that.
She is total Claire Underwood in this movie.
yeah. But really good movie. If you haven't seen it yet,
she's Jenny Gump no more.
What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
Yeah, so that's my number 9, The Most Wanted Man.
Okay, I guess we'll move on to my number 8 pick, which again also didn't get very much play here, but it was one I was really looking forward to since like March, and it came out towards the end of the summer. Mm-hmm. And this is a British movie, really an Irish movie, called Calvary, directed by John Michael McDonough, and he wrote it as well, and it stars Brendan Gleeson and Chris O'Dowd. This movie, for me, had... I could not include it because it had so many... It like covered all the bases here. It was really funny. It was very poignant. It had a very rich story to tell.
Yeah.
And did it in a very fresh way. Like, I'd never seen a movie quite like this one before. And I was familiar with the writer-director here. He, back in 2012, maybe... wrote a movie called The Guard, which also starred Brendan Gleeson and Don Cheadle. It was super funny.
Right.
So that's what kind of had this on my radar for me.
Right.
But I didn't really expect it to be this good.
Yeah, Calvary, I liked it a lot. I think I gave it a B+ when I reviewed it. I really liked it a lot. The end is very sad. But it was really, really well done. It does have a lot of humor in it, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was a really, really well made movie.
It's out on video now.
Yeah, it's on Blu-ray
and DVD. So look for it because I know it didn't get much play over here.
No, it didn't. It was in theaters for like a hot minute, and then it was gone,
which is too bad.
Yeah.
This is the kind of movie that begs for a bigger audience.
And it's Calvary, not cavalry. So it's
right.
I mean, I'm not saying you say that, but because I remember when I watched it, I was like,
yeah, yeah. You won't see
Calvary it refers to like, isn't it like the cross or something like that? And so
yeah,
like
you won't see Custer's Last Stand.
Yeah, exactly.
In this movie.
I was like, where's the cavalry?
Yeah.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
Yeah, Brendan Gleeson for me. He's always an underlooked actor.
Yeah. He gets overlooked a lot, yeah.
He does typically a lot of great supporting stuff. Mm-hmm. But in this one, he really nails the lead in this movie, and I was super impressed.
We're also big fans of his son, Domhnall Gleeson.
Yeah, Domhnall Gleeson.
And he's also in this, and in a surprising role for him.
Yep.
Because
he was also in Frank this year,
he was the lead in Frank.
Just missed my list. Great movie.
Yeah.
And earlier, About Time, which was a phenomenal movie.
And that made both our lists.
Yes, last year.
Yeah. No, that's a good pick. Calvary was really good. My number 8 film was a movie that we were really looking forward to, and it delivered on so many levels. This was a movie that went through a very protracted release battle. The Weinsteins had it, and they were going to cut it up and release it, and finally the director won his fight. And They put it out as it was released in South Korea. It's an English-speaking movie. It's the director's first English-speaking movie. And we're talking about Snowpiercer.
Oh, great.
Great sci-fi film.
And by the way, then once they release it, you wonder what the Weinsteins wanted to cut anyway. Like, it made no sense. It made no sense.
It didn't make much sense what they wanted to cut. What happened with Snowpiercer is that we saw it in the theater. It played here, but it became a big hit on VOD.
Yeah,
it was a big hit, and it stars Chris Evans is in it. Captain America himself is in it, and he plays anybody but Captain America. Jamie Bell is in this. Tilda Swinton is fantastic in her role. She's one of the villains. John Hurt is in this. Octavia Spencer. Just a total American and British cast. Director's Jun Ho Bong, and he did The Host, that monster movie, The Host, not the Stephanie Meyer adaptation, The Host. So this is his first English-speaking movie.
Yeah, he knocked it out of the park,
and it was really, really good. It was loosely based on a French graphic novel, and the story is about. It's set in the near future. Well, not the near future, but probably about like 60 years in the future, something like that. 60,
relatively near, depending on how you look at things.
And they tried to fight global warming, climate change, and they failed. And basically, the Earth is now this big ice brick.
Right. So essentially, in the fight to stop global warming, we actually sped it up.
Right. And we did the reverse. The reverse. It went to global cooling.
Well, yeah. I mean, global warming is not necessarily. It creates a climate shift that will eventually be cooling. Anyway.
And all the remainder of humanity lives on this train called the Snowpiercer.
Train.
Huh?
Peace train?
Sure. And basically, it does a circuit, and when it completes a circuit, that's a full year. And basically, it's just a perpetual engine that just keeps on going. And the train is divided into a caste system where the haves are in the front and the have-nots are in the back. And the movie tells the story of how the have-nots are going to stage a revolution to get to the front of the train.
Yeah.
And nothing will prepare you for the last 20 minutes of this movie. Mm-hmm. There's a scene, Matt King recently saw it, and he was just like, holy shit! Like, his head exploded.
Yeah.
He was like that. Oh my god! He's like, oh my god. Very, very great movie.
It really is.
This was one of my best of the summer, and it hit so many buttons for me.
Yeah, this is a really, really well made movie. It has great atmosphere. Mm-hmm. It's a great original story.
Yeah.
Which again is really hard to come by.
Yeah.
These days. But yeah, what can you say? There's no need to talk. Go listen to our podcast if you want to hear about this movie, because it's a very good movie, and it deserves to be on your list.
This came out, I think, the same weekend as Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. So
we got a little overshadowed.
Well, of course, but when it came out, it was a limited release anyway. Yeah. But we had like a super double feature that weekend. We had a lot of fun that weekend.
Yeah,
seeing both these movies. But yeah, so Snowpiercer is my number 8.
The metaphor for life: a giant moving train.
That's right.
Can't stop that train.
Can't. Well, you can.
Well, you can. You can. Yeah. So my number 7, we've already talked about.
Okay.
Nightcrawler.
Right.
So
okay,
we've hit the buttons there, but that hit my number 7 mark.
Okay. My number 7 is a movie that has stuck with me since April. And it's another Chris Evans movie. And that's right. It's Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
All right.
My pick so far for the best Marvel movie so far. Done by Marvel Studios.
Sure, right. Now I'm with you. So not Howard the Duck.
No, not Howard the Duck. Captain America, the Winter Soldier I was completely blown away when I saw this movie. It nails so many different genres, going from a comic book movie to a political thriller to just a straight action movie.
It does.
That sequence in the very beginning when he storms that freighter, incredible.
Awesome action sequence.
Fucking incredible. I could watch that all day.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, it was, this was, I would say, the first Marvel movie that made me think of The Dark Knight. Because for me, The Dark Knight is the pinnacle of the comic book movies. It's the pinnacle. It's the top.
Agreed.
This was the Marvel movie that came the closest to that. It just really, really good. The only complaint that I had is that I kind of saw the quote unquote twist of a certain character coming from a mile away. I mean, that was coming from a mile away.
From the previews.
Right,
from the previews, you're like, oh, yeah, that's happening.
But the other twist that's in the movie, which we can talk about now because it's all over the place, the fact that S.H.I.E.L.D. had been taken over by Hydra. And this will play in a lot to Avengers 2, and this also played into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They completely
bled right into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Bled right into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Completely changed that show.
Brilliant marketing.
For the better. Because now that show's 100% better.
That's when the show got good. Yeah.
And Hydra was behind S.H.I.E.L.D. the whole time, so that was a huge twist. It was so cool that they did that. And just Chris Evans was really great. I mean, I think I said in my review, at the very top of my review, I said, Captain America, Marvel fans, Captain America is going to become your new favorite Avenger. Because for a long time, people were like, oh, Iron Man. No. Captain America is the fucking man. And great.
I still kind of like Iron Man.
Fuck Iron Man. So, give me Batman any day. So,
well, you talking Avengers, though.
Well, yeah. Captain
America. You said favorite Avenger.
Right. Whatever. Scarlett Johansson's in this as Black Widow. She's really good in this. There's a lot of great banter between her and Chris Evans. Anthony Mackie shows up. He's the Falcon, and I felt for sure that he was going to feel shoehorned in, and they're just like, oh, we got to get a black guy in here. No, he is
great.
Gave him he was so good in this movie.
They wrote him in really well.
Yeah. I cannot wait for Captain America 3 to see him.
Yeah, he was really good.
Sebastian Stan is back. If you don't know the Winter Soldier story, he's back. He's the Winter Soldier. He was really good in this. Robert Redford's really good.
And they have some good nods and winks.
Yes. Oh, yeah. To what can happen in the future.
Yeah.
And I have to say, this was the best movie best Marvel movie Samuel L. Jackson has done, because they actually gave Nick Fury something to do,
right?
Other than just stand there and look menacing and flip his coat open
and then give some orders.
Right. So he actually had something to do in this movie, and he was really good. Frank Grillo, who was in the most recent Purge movie, was in this. He's going to end up becoming Crossbones. Just a really, really, really well-made movie. The Russo brothers directed this. They're going to do Captain America 3, and they're also signed on to do the next 2 Avengers movies.
Yeah.
So,
and they recently just announced Scarlett Johansson will be Black Widow, reprising her role in
Civil War.
Civil War, yeah.
And then you had a really nice scene between Chris Evans and Haley Atwell. That took place in the present day. So she's much older now because she has lived.
A little awkward. Right.
But that was a great scene too. So it's just a really, really great
this movie. This is where you get to see a really, really good movie, not a really good comic book movie.
Right.
This is a good movie, not just a movie made about a comic book that happens to be good.
Right.
And yeah, when we saw this in freaking April, well, I guess you saw it first.
Yes, I did.
But yeah,
hey, you were in London. Sorry,
blew my mind.
Yeah,
what a great movie. You can't say enough about Chris Evans really embodying Captain America in these movies.
Yeah,
and I look forward to more as well.
Yeah. So let's go to your number 6.
My number 6, we'll breeze right through it because it's The Most Wanted Man.
There you go.
We've already
put it a little bit higher than
that. Oh yeah, I love this movie. I spy movies really do it for me, but a spy movie like this, it just doesn't come around that often. Let's face it.
Yeah, they don't.
Blew me away. I love this movie. So that's my number 6.
My number 6 was a movie we also discussed prior to the podcast. It is the Lego Movie. The Lego Movie was a huge surprise. When I went to go see it, our friend Jen had seen it before. She came with us to go see it our first time. It was her second time seeing it. And she was like, no. She's like, this movie's really good. And I was like, okay. All so we sat down and we laughed our asses off. This movie is so funny. And it's so smart. And it's
smart, but it's also not like over the heads of kids.
Oh no! Like it was great for kids because it was like the animated and stuff like that. But there is a lot. It was like a Pixar movie. There was a lot of humor in there for adults.
Yeah.
You had Chris Pratt is Emmett, who's the main character, who is not that special, but apparently
he is the special.
That's right. You had Elizabeth Banks plays What was her name? Wild Style.
Wild Style. Yeah. Wait. Your name is Wild Style?
Somebody named you that?
Someone named you that?
Will Arnett plays Lego Batman.
Oh, he's the best,
and he's awesome in this.
And they've already announced they're doing the Lego Batman movie.
Right. That'll be the first spin-off of this before they end up doing Lego Movie 2. Can't wait for that. Morgan Freeman should win. He should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor for his role in this. He was Vitruvius.
Yeah, he's like the old sage, wisdom soothsayer that is giving advice to these group of ragtag Lego beings that are trying to stop
Lord Business, President Business, played by Will Ferrell,
from taking over their world, their realm. And he's really funny. He's
good. Like, what does he say to him? He's like, the eyes will always be. And he goes, "You cannot take away my sight." He goes, "Oh, my eyes!" He blinds him.
Well, what is the quote that you like to?
The best is, "You didn't let me finish because I died."
Because I died. And then he comes back to the ghost.
Just Liam Neeson is in this. Liam
Neeson's awesome.
He plays multiple roles. Plays multiple roles as bad cop, good cop, and he plays his parents.
Very good. Did you mention Charlie Day?
No, Charlie Day's in this as 80-something spaceman.
80-something spaceman. He's really funny.
I mean, Alison Brie's in this. Just a great cast.
Goes on and on. Yeah.
Really, really, really top-notch movie. This is from Chris Miller and Phil Lord, and they are just they're just great directors. They've done the Jump Street movies. They've done Cloudy with Chance of Meatballs, and they did this. So they just really. They wanted them to do Ghostbusters, but they said no. They didn't want to touch that.
That's probably smart.
It probably is smart. But I'd rather see them doing more stuff like this.
Yeah.
I would much rather.
They're really good team there. And again, big snub that this didn't get nominated.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
They were very gracious about it on Twitter though. They tweeted out a Lego Oscar.
Yeah.
And said, don't feel sorry for us. We got to make a great movie with a great cast, and we're going to do it again. So, extremely funny movie. This did not make my list because there's just so much good stuff around. But good on you for getting this on your list here. So we'll move on to my number 5.
Yeah,
which is a movie we also saw over the summer, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
And this is also my number 5 as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right there. So this is director Matt Reeves, and it stars Gary Oldman, Kerry Russell, Andy Serkis, of course, is the man when it comes to motion capture acting.
Yeah.
And he, of course, does a phenomenal job of bringing Caesar to life. I mean, he did it. You've seen it before. He did it in the last one, but
right.
But what to say about this movie?
Jason Clarke's also in this too.
Jason Clarke, yeah,
he's the main guy.
He's the main guy. Well, for me,
for the humans,
right? Exactly. So when I went and saw this movie, and I really liked Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I thought that was a very solid movie.
It was, yeah.
A lot of good performances there and everything.
Yeah.
So it's not. I expected the same, but man, did I get more.
Yeah.
This movie takes that beyond to a whole nother level, and it's you get to a point in this movie where you're watching it, and you completely forget that you're watching apes. CGI apes versus humans fighting out. You just see two groups, two distinct factions that each have their motivations and rationale for what they're doing.
Right.
And you actually have this empathy for these apes that just it seemingly how do you have this empathy for these? Not only they're not real apes, there's just CGI apes on the screen, but I mean their facial expressions, their movements. You can tell, the I forget his name. It was a bad ape's name.
Koba.
Koba.
That's played by Toby Kebbell, who's going to be Doctor Doom in Fantastic Four.
Nah, we'll talk about that later.
That trailer's coming soon.
No, Ayad's coming. Yeah, you could probably keep it. I've totally run out of steam now. Anytime you bring that up,
sorry,
but no. So, the difference between Koba and say Caesar, you can tell the difference not only when they're talking or when they actually have actions, but just like you can with a person,
right?
Like it is incredible the way these actors, these stop motion or CGI actors, are able to do what they do.
Right.
And Andy Serkis has missed nominations time and time again. And when is it going to stop? Because he's an actual actor. I mean,
right.
He does brings these things to life like no other human would be able to. And the story is so compelling. You just, from start to finish, you're on the edge of your seat wondering what's going to happen. And it's so true to form as the way something like this will probably play out, you know?
Yeah. I loved this movie. This was my pick for best movie of the summer. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I just loved it. It was very deep movie. Very emotional movie. I couldn't believe that I was getting this emotionally invested in CGI apes. Of course, my favorite ape is Maurice.
Maurice was the best. I didn't mention him, but he's so good, man. He's so low. I just want him in the house, like sitting on my couch. I just look over and go, "What's up, buddy? We just watching TV. I want to hang out with Maurice."
Andy Serkis. No, you're right. Andy Serkis is the king of not stop motion.
Yeah, I don't.
Motion
That's
capture.
sorry. I threw
capture.
that out there earlier. Yes, motion capture.
Motion capture. He is the king. And in fact, they actually brought him in on Avengers to teach James Spader a thing or two. He's in Avengers anyway, but he was also like a consultant for them. He's also going to be in Star Wars.
Yes.
And what he's done, not just with that art form, but what he's done with Caesar in particular is just incredible.
And I'm glad you bring it up. It is an art form.
Yeah, it is.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And if James Cameron is smart, I know he keeps pushing it back all the time, but if James Cameron is smart, he will get him involved with his Avatar sequels.
You cannot go wrong with Andy Serkis.
You can't.
It's impossible. He brings everything to a new level. I was so excited when they announced him for Star Wars because I just knew the fact that he was going to be there. I was like, we're doing something here.
He does the voiceover in the trailer.
Yeah.
So we'll see what his role entails. But yeah, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, just a spectacular film. It's on Blu-ray right now. Definitely check this out if you missed it this summer. Because, like I said, it was my pick for best of the summer. It was just amazing movie.
Yeah, really good. So moving on to number 4.
Yeah, number 4.
My number 4 pick is a movie that we were extremely interested in seeing.
Right.
Wasn't really sure what to expect, really, but it had kind of an interesting trailer attached to it, which really kind of caught our eye. And this is director Damien Chazelle's Chazelle. Is it Chazelle?
I think so.
His movie that came out this fall, Whiplash. And that's what this movie does to you.
Yeah.
This movie stars Miles Teller, who is I guess we'll still call him an up and comer, but you know he's at this point he's been in a lot of things. So
he was in The Spectacular Now.
Yeah.
He was in the Divergent movies.
He's gonna be
in Fantastic Four. He's gonna be Reed Richards. But yeah, he's
still up and comer, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's a solid actor.
Yeah.
And J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Who steals the show in this movie handily, and should just walk away with the best supporting.
Yeah, as soon as he rolls up to the theater, they just hand him the best supporting actor.
This is a lock.
Yeah.
You know, I know we've said that about the nominations, but there's no one even close to him in this category.
No, he was spectacular.
He gets the Oscar hands down, deservedly so. Not only for this work, but for all his past supporting work that he's done. before now, you might even consider him a that guy.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say that after this, hopefully he'll no longer be a that guy.
Yeah.
He'll be J.K. fucking Simmons.
Yeah, this, for a long time, this was my top movie of the year. I loved this movie. The only minor quibble I had with it was that I felt that the romantic subplot was could have used a little bit more development.
Could have developed
a
little more, yeah.
But it was, this movie was breathtaking. J.K. Simmons is fantastic in this movie.
Yeah, so he plays kind of a how shall we say, like a tyrannical drill sergeant kind of musician leader.
No, yeah, he's a music teacher at a prestigious music school. Miles Teller is a jazz drummer who
a newbie coming on board,
who works his way into this top flight jazz band, jazz concert band that's headed by J.K. Simmons, and J.K. Simmons basically destroys this kid, and it's just
sends him down. He has a nervous breakdown.
Essentially, yes.
Very quickly. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
And Simmons is just.
Yeah. He's probably the best villain of the year.
yeah. I mean, he's so good at this role. And guess what? It's not understated at all.
Yeah, I know.
It's completely in your face.
Yeah, I mean, he throws chairs at him, and oh my god, it's crazy.
Again, my favorite part though that we talked about when we review this movie is how when he first meets Teller, and he's talking to him and having a real heart to heart with him, talking about so I hear your mom left, and then he turns around and within 5 minutes he's throwing that in his face and using it against him. It hits that set the tone for what was going to be happening in this movie. And by the way, the movie itself is really good. It is completely carried by J.K. Simmons. But
Teller does a great job too.
No, but I mean, as far as what really engages you,
right? Yeah.
It's J.K. Simmons' character, but the story is really good.
Paul Reiser also makes an appearance here. There's a Paul Reiser sighting. He plays Teller's father. He does a good job.
He does a really good job.
But this movie literally, I mean, at least in our area, this movie was in the theater for blink and it was gone. If you can find Whiplash anywhere, definitely check this movie out.
Yeah, it's sad that movies like this and Calvary, they don't get their play. Yeah. They just don't find their footing here.
I mean, while the big talk is about Boyhood and this is one of the movies that should be heavy in the conversation for best film of the year. I mean, it was just really spectacular.
And that the catalyst scene or the end scene in this movie, I guess you call it. Well,
phenomenal.
Awesome.
My number 4 movie is a movie that we discussed before we started talking as well. Just saw this just a week ago, and I would say the most important movie this year, and that is Selma from director Ava DuVernay. This movie, we talked about it on the podcast just last episode. And I talked about how angry this movie made me, because when you see what the whites do, the Southern whites do, it's despicable.
It really is.
And it's disgusting, and it made me so angry because you said, because as we know, this shit still goes on today.
And people
it's not as I would say prominent. It's not as out in the forefront, but it still happens. Yeah. And you were going to say something, sorry.
Oh no. We're kind of like-minded. People like you and I, it's hard to really grasp why this happens, why this ever happened.
Yeah.
Just so deep-seated, but it's an extremely powerful movie, and you're right, it just drives you to anger.
Yeah. David Oyelowo, as we discussed before we started talking about best ofs, he was phenomenal as Martin Luther King Jr.
He really was.
Carmen Ejogo, she was great as Coretta Scott King. And then there were several great supporting roles in this. Common's really good in this.
Common is good.
Just a really well-made movie. Wendell Pierce is in this. He's great. Just really...
Oprah Winfrey's in this.
Oprah Winfrey is the first person you see basically in this movie. That's not Martin Luther King.
Right.
But just really, really well made. It's we were talking about how American Sniper's making so much money this weekend of all weekends, Martin Luther King weekend. Go see Selma.
Yeah.
I mean, for God's sakes. I mean, go see this movie.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. Did not make my list. I had too many quibbles with the way it was framed. I thought it was a little preachy in that, not the message, but like actual
the way they delivered it.
The way they delivered it.
I can see that. Yeah,
a lot of monologues that weren't supposed to be monologues,
right,
that were just right in your face.
Right.
But again, great movie.
Yeah.
Nothing at all wrong with it. And you're right. This weekend of all weekends, check this movie out if you haven't already. You will come out of there very emotional.
Yeah, it was. It was. I went with my mom, and she cried for like the last 20 minutes of the movie.
You should have known better. You should take tissues for your mom.
We had napkins from popcorn.
Okay.
She was fine. She's fine. But yeah, definitely check out Selma. I'm sure it's going to be playing for at least a few.
I'm actually a little surprised that made it up that far on the list. You really
it was.
liked that.
It was. Yeah. I mean, that was an A movie
for
me all the way. It was an A movie. I couldn't, in good conscience, give it an A minus just because of how emotional it was and how invested I was in it.
Yeah.
I understand kind of like the problems you had with it, but to me, they were just minor problems because the message is the whole thing. Yeah. So they're trying.
That was my only other problem with the movie, though. It's like and again, all these things I'm saying now are kind of nitpicky because it is a great movie, but it's not a movie we haven't seen before. I mean, this message has been driven home in other movies, so it's not like this is the first or
that's true.
Or extremely eye-opening to the subject. Right. But it still does portray it in a very very dim light.
Yeah.
And it is nice how they took a singular focus with it. This one march as opposed to the grand scope of everything, because you could. Because this one event in time sums up that whole civil rights movement.
Yeah.
So yeah, good on good pick there.
Thanks.
And it is kind of shameful that Yellow did not get a nomination. The way you got it. That guy did not get a nomination because he nailed it. Yeah. He really nailed it.
I guess the Academy figured, well, we nominated Chiwetel Ejiofor last year, so we're gonna take a Whitey break.
Yeah.
I mean, because don't get me wrong, Bradley Cooper is really good in American Sniper. He didn't deserve to get nominated. I didn't think so.
Yeah, if you're comparing it to some like this guy, you're right. But he really did do a good job.
He was good. He was. Yeah. But we'll talk about that next episode.
You're right. We'll get that in the next podcast.
Because spoiler alert, that movie didn't make our list either.
Yeah. So, it's interesting. I saw not that this is anything new, but I saw an article where Spike Lee is basically talking about, black nominations at the Oscars is basically like on a 10-year cycle.
Yeah.
For whether it's a movie or an actor, and so he'll get calls every coming up on every decade about how Hollywood's turned the corner and they're not racist anymore. And he's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So talk to him in another 10 years. Yeah. And I don't agree with Spike Lee on a lot of his rants. He's kind of right here.
Yeah.
I mean, Hollywood doesn't.
It's like I said,
farewell with the black community in acting is fucking ridiculous.
It's like I said, watch The Wire, and you'll watch The Wire, and you will say how did this not get nominated for anything, and B, how did all these actors go unnoticed for so long? I mean, because they are.
It's ridiculous.
It is that. The Wire will just besides the fact that it's a great story and it's a great show and stuff like that. Just on that level, it will completely open your eyes.
I mean, I hate to repeat myself because we've talked about this in previous podcasts, but like even some of those leaked Sony emails reference to the fact that the executives in Sony did not want Denzel Washington in the lead for roles because the black lead actor, quote unquote, does not play well internationally.
And it's Denzel Washington.
What the fuck, man?
It's Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington can't get a role. I'm sorry, but the rest of your fucks.
Yeah.
I mean,
he is. He.
It's
wow.
it's shameful.
It is, yeah.
It's a disgrace, but this is a very powerful movie that should be seen, and I'm glad it was made.
Yeah.
Glad it made your list. Let's move on to my number 3 pick. Sorry, which is one came out in April that we both
March.
That's right. That we both really enjoyed. The Grand Budapest Hotel.
It's my number 3 as well.
Boom, there it is. So we've got 2 that are right on par there. When we reviewed this movie, we couldn't say enough about it. What more can be said? To be fair, everything that I have said and will say about this movie is completely blanketed in the fact that I love Wes Anderson and his movies and the way he tells stories. I love it.
Right.
One of my favorite movies ever is The Royal Tenenbaums. So, I love the guy. He's so quirky and fun. But this movie, even for Wes Anderson, is really good.
Yeah.
This is I don't even know how many movies he's done now. He's upwards of 7, something like that.
Right.
Something like that. But this has got a great ensemble cast, as Wes Anderson movies do. But as we alluded to earlier, Ralph Fiennes is in this, and the man should have gotten nominated.
Oh, he's fantastic in this movie.
He's so funny.
Yes.
He's got so many colloquialisms that he doles out in this movie.
Yeah.
And the way he says everything so proper. And even when he's being a little bit like racist or making some off-color comment, it just, you laugh because it's hysterical.
Yeah, he plays Gustav H., who is the concierge at this hotel called the Grand Budapest Hotel. It's basically set. It's not World War II specifically, but it's the same thing as World War II. It's almost like in an alternate universe.
There's no real time frame because you're right. This is like an alternate universe. Right. There are the exact comparison to the Nazis in this movie, right down to the swastika.
Symbol. They have like an SS symbol almost. Yeah. So basically, this is like right before a war in Europe, and he runs this hotel, and he is like this legendary, concierge, and he is just hilarious. Like he's so like polite. It's almost like what if you took C-3PO and made him have the mouth of a sailor, and it's like, and that's exactly what he is in this movie. Because like he's so nice to people, but then like he just like, if he goes off, he just goes, fuck them, fuck those people, fuck them. Okay, well let's take care of this and get this done. He is phenomenal in this movie. This movie, until we got to the fall, was my pick for the best movie of the year. I mean, for a while there, it looked like it was going to make it all the way. And I'm so happy that it's gotten so much attention from the Academy.
Yeah, I didn't really expect it.
I mean, this got nominated for Best Picture. Wes Anderson got nominated for Best Director. As we said, Ralph Fiennes.
Neither will win, but
probably not. Ralph Fiennes should have been nominated for Best Actor.
Really should have.
It was just a well-made movie. Just so funny. Jeff Goldblum is in this.
Oh man, he's great.
Did you just throw my cat out the window?
again, another movie that has
Willem Dafoe.
Well, I will call Green Goblin
Willem
Dafoe in it, who's great.
And he's in this. Just fantastic.
And it's got all the standard Anderson cameos.
Yeah, Bill Murray shows up in it. Bob Balaban shows up. Schwartzman shows up. Owen Wilson shows up.
What's funny to me? I mean, the movie itself is funny. And serious. I mean, it's got a little bit of everything here. But the fact that like these concierges have their little secret society, secret society of the keys or something like that.
It's like the 5 keys. Or
the 5 keys, and they just like they'll call each other up, and just it's like this chain of needing help through this concierge circle. It's so funny.
Ed Norton is in this. He was also in his last movie, Moonrise Kingdom. So he might
actually playing similar character.
Yeah, similar character. Yeah. So he might become more of a regular maybe in Wes Anderson. If you don't like Wes Anderson's quirkiness, you're probably not going to like it. But it's because I talked to people who were like, I hated that movie. I'm like, you're insane. Yeah. Grand Budapest Hotel was hilarious.
Who are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
Oh, I don't know.
No.
I've talked to, I think, a couple people didn't like it.
Okay.
But
well, I agree with you in saying it's a great movie. And yeah, it's quirky. It's it's certainly absolutely 100% has the Wes Anderson stamp all over it.
Yeah.
But it's just such a good movie. And again, I'll go back to this, original.
Yeah.
An original screenplay, an original script. That goes hand in hand.
And
that goes hand in hand when you say Wes Anderson.
He's got nominated for his screenplays in the past, so he's finally gotten over that hump to now like Best Picture, Best.
Yeah, and again, it's not. This isn't. While it surprised me, it shouldn't surprise me. It surprises me not because of the movie itself. It surprises me because of the way the Academy normally handles things like this. But it's a beautiful movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's so beautiful. It's so inventive.
The hotel's like a model.
I mean, everything I have to say about this movie, I personally could say about every Wes Anderson movie.
Right.
They're all very similar in style.
Right.
But the storyline with this, along with the great acting, over the top. Really, really solid movie. You said that was your number 3.
That was my number 3 as well, yes.
All right, so I guess we'll just trudge her right along to the best 2 movies of the year.
I will say my number 2, before you get to your number 2, my number 2 was Whiplash. So we've already discussed Whiplash. My number 2 was Whiplash. So it just got edged out by my number 1.
Right.
Just got edged out by number 1. Like those 3, my number 1, Whiplash, and Grand Budapest are very, very close. But it just got edged out.
All right.
So now let's talk about your number 2.
My number 2 movie... can't say enough about it. Roll your eyes all the fuck you want, sir. The most entertaining movie of the year for me. Fell in love with this movie after the first 10 minutes and knew that it was going to hold a special place in my heart. And I'm talking about Guardians of the Galaxy. I freely admit it's technically not the best Marvel movie made. I freely admit that if you're going purely for cinematics, absolutely Captain America to beat this movie. But this movie has everything else. Mm-hmm. Everything else for me in a movie that I love and want to see. Weird, right? But this is directed by James Gunn. Mm-hmm. It stars Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Bradley Cooper does the voice of Rocket, and Vin Diesel does the voice for Groot. I don't really want to. If I start talking about this movie, I'm just gonna go all off. But if you don't know Guardians of the Galaxy, this was Marvel's sleeper.
It made a shit ton of money.
This was Marvel's sleeper this year, mm-hmm. The unknown, if you will. Yeah. Can Marvel make a movie based on a comic that essentially nobody knows? Yeah. Answer: absolutely, they can.
Yeah.
And they can make a really good movie out of it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the fact that it was the unknown, it allowed James Gunn and Marvel a freedom to work with the material and breathe the life that he did into this movie. And this is absolutely on the... I hate to say the word comic booky because comic books can be very serious too, but this is definitely is more on the humorous, entertaining side of the house as opposed to your Dark Knights or your Captain America.
Well, there's a lot of humor in Captain America.
True,
too,
but
But no, I understand.
But for me, this is that grand space odyssey that I've been waiting to see since liken it to Star Wars and stuff like that. Plus how focused I am on my music.
Right.
Like I'm a big music buff in my own realm. Granted, it's very specific.
Yeah.
But but in that wheelhouse of music, I'm way into it, and this really hits like home for me. The soundtrack that they did for this. I don't think we really need to retread the story here. I mean, you got your classic good guy team that forms trying to defend the galaxy against in this case Lee Pace playing
Ronan
the Accuser, and spoiler alert, they win. But the ride is so fun, and that's what this movie is. This movie is a ride.
Yeah.
And just strap in and enjoy it. It's a beautiful movie too. It's a very pretty movie. The CGI in this is really, really well done. And the story, if you want to pick it apart a little bit, the story's a little lacking. But everything else for me makes up for it in this movie. I loved it.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy was a lot of fun. I loved the characters of the Guardians themselves. I loved Rocket, loved Groot. I got that shirt on right now.
No,
go there.
So you do. You don't leave it on.
And I liked Chris Pratt. He was really good. I thought
Rocket was your man, though.
Yeah, I loved Rocket. Yeah. But I think from a story standpoint, the movie just didn't completely do it for me. I mean, I gave it a B plus.
You're right.
It was a lot of fun. I really liked it a lot. I went to go see it multiple times. Yeah. But when I watched it on Blu-ray just recently, again, and it was just like there was just some things didn't hit me right. This is one of those movies that I'm really looking forward to. Kind of like the first Captain America. I liked the first Captain America, but there was just something off about it. And I was like, but I really can't wait to see Captain America 2. And
the development of the character.
And I was greatly rewarded for that. So I'm looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I really am. I really think it's going to be a fantastic movie. But it was just like, there was just something that was just off. I don't know if it was Lee Pace. Karen Gillan is in this as well. I thought she was completely hammy. She was completely hammy.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, it does slightly lack in the storyline, and you can there are a lot of nitpicky.
But it was definitely the most fun movie of the year.
Yeah, it was the most fun movie of the year, and for me, it just as we've talked about, it just really hit my senses of what I really love in a movie, whereas for you, not quite.
Right. When you've got a movie like this, and then you see, and it made the most domestic. It made the most money
of 2014. It made
the most domestically than any movie. But then you see a movie like this, which is light years ahead of a movie like Transformers.
Don't even compare them.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, they're both popcorn movies, so it's like but this has got so much more heart in it, and great characters, and that's right. I mean, it's it's really, really good. I felt Gamora was a little underserved in this movie. They could have teased out her story a little bit, a lot better. I thought. I mean, basically, she's just like, I was stealing these from him. They're just like, well, okay then. I'm just
right.
No, I would be a little wary about trusting her.
Right. Like you said, you pick it apart. That's the very fine line that Gunn and any director is going to have to walk on. I'll say a superhero movie, but any movie where you have this ensemble cast where they're all leads, and it's in this terms, it's an origin story of these characters. You can't hit all five and give them the same.
No, I know.
Attention.
I know,
but I mean, it is underserved in that way. You're right, but it's a fine line.
Just the little things that annoyed me about this one is just. It was just slightly what set it back from movies like Captain America, Winter Soldier, and X-Men, because I thought X-Men was fantastic.
Days of Future Past. Yeah,
I thought that was incredible. So, but then again, as you were more biased to this, I'm more biased to the X-Men.
Correct.
Because I love.
Well, yeah, it's a different bias though, because you're biased to the X-Men because nostalgia.
Well, not just that, but it's also because of It's also because I like the X-Men movies for the most part, except for a couple duds in there.
Well, that's what I mean. Is that you have a history of this?
Right.
This to me, this is brand new material.
True, but it's keying in on Star Wars and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just
take a look around your fucking room, buddy.
I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, this was easily, this was never not going to be in my top 10.
Yeah.
However, when creating the list, as much as I love this movie, I was like, I've got to give it its props for me personally. So I freely admit it's not technically the best of the best, easily within my top 10, but probably if I were ranking my list solely on different criteria, it would not be number 2, but just on pure entertainment value and my absolute love for this material in this movie. That's my number 2.
So let's get to the number 1 film, and it was the same movie for both of us.
Hands down.
But in saying that, I still stick by what we've said in earlier podcasts, that a lot of really, really, really good movies, but nothing that was like a true home run for me. And last year, it's like we said on an earlier podcast, 12 Years a Slave, phenomenal movie. Gravity was fantastic. American Hustle, those were like 3 movies we were like, wow, those are really, really good movies. This movie, that is number 1 for both of us, that really liked it. It was spectacular. I thought it was the best movie of the year. But if you put it up against past years, it's not going to hold up as well for me against something as say,
like
12 Years a Slave.
Agreed.
We're talking about Imitation Game. Imitation Game is the story of Alan Turing, a British mathematician who helped crack the German Enigma machine so that they could break German codes and thus win World War II. Benedict Cumberbatch plays Turing. Turing was... his work that he did during the war was secret for 50 years or so.
He built the first computer.
He basically built the first computer, one of the first computers, if not the first computer. He's considered to be like the father of computer science,
which is so sad because hardly so many people have no idea.
Exactly, and AI. He's also kind of like the father of AI.
Absolutely.
His work was kept secret. He was also a homosexual, which was illegal.
Also he kept secret.
And his secrets kind of caught up with him later in life. Yeah. And it was his stories. It's sad, it's tragic, but it was also, the movie was very gripping.
Very compelling.
Keira Knightley's in this. She got nominated, didn't she? I think she did. I think she did for best supporting actress. I'm pretty sure she did. And a supporting
leading.
role.
Sorry, I'm looking at leading.
Yeah, no.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Keira Knightley. Yeah, okay. Keira Knightley was in this. She was nominated for best supporting actress.
We even mentioned that. We even mentioned that on our podcast.
Matthew Good's in this. Charles Dance is in this. Mark Strong was really good in this. He plays an MI6 agent.
He's awesome. Yeah.
It's a really, really well-made movie. For me, like I said, Whiplash this just edged Whiplash out for me just because it went that extra mile and just felt to be, to me, a little bit more complete as a film. Just a very, very touching story, a very exciting story as well because of what they were doing with, with the war and everything like that. I said recently that computer movies are boring, something we'll talk about in the next episode. But this movie is not one of those.
And this movie, a movie like this, I'll say this: you get the right director, you get the right story. It's hard not to have a home run with a movie like this. What's amazing to me is this story hasn't been told before.
Right.
This man was incredible. He was likely the smartest man in the world.
Yeah.
I think they said his IQ was
one of, or
I mean, he was like his IQ was way higher than Albert Einstein's ever was.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd heard that.
This guy, it's like you said, it's tragic how the story unfolds. Mm-hmm. Not to give anything away, just watch the movie or just read up on Alan Turing because everyone should know who this man is.
Yeah.
I guess I guess it hasn't really been in history books because up until what would have been the 80s or 90s, it was all top secret.
Yeah.
For 50 years after these 40s, it would have been top secret still. So,
into the mid 90s,
yeah,
mid to late 90s.
But his contribution to the war and to computer science is unmatched.
Yeah.
And Cumberbatch played it great.
Oh yeah, he totally earned his nomination for Best Actor. Morton Tildum is the director. And he did a good job as the director. Nothing real showy, nothing real spectacular.
It's a historical movie, so it's very documented. So there's not much to direct. I mean, when you got people like Cumberbatch and Knightley, you just get them on screen and let them do their mastercraft that they do. This was destined to be a great movie.
And to be honest, I'm really disappointed that it's not getting more chatter with the awards race.
I don't understand why Boyhood is running away with it when you have a movie like this.
When this movie actually has what I like to call a story.
Right.
Sorry, Boyhood.
Right.
I mean, what is that movie about?
I get it. We all have an adolescence.
Yeah.
And within the realm of someone's life, things happen.
Yeah. A friend of mine, she nailed it. She said exactly what we said when we reviewed it. That she's like, Ethan Hawke's the best part of this movie. I said, yes. I said he is, because the movie only is like exciting when he's on the screen. Otherwise, this movie's boring.
Hey, guess what? The movie's not about him.
It's not.
And you know what? It's not even about the boy. It's about the whole family.
Yeah, it's about the whole family. More about the mother. She called this movie Patricia Arquette.
Yeah, I digress.
Anyway.
Because we're talking about Imitation Game. And I'm not going to give another breath to Boyhood, which again is a solid movie. But the Imitation Game is this is the best movie of the year.
Yeah, I thought so.
I don't. The Academy can do whatever they want to with the other one, but this deserves it.
Yeah, this was really great.
And Cumberbatch, he won't, but I could see him taking home the lead actor as well.
He won't,
but he won't,
because it'll probably be Eddie Redmayne, and after that it'll be Michael Keaton.
I would say Eddie Redmayne.
Actually, it could be Michael Keaton.
It could be. You're right, because he's won the last. You're right, and again, he did an awesome job.
He was great in Birdman. He was great.
But see Imitation Game, if for nothing else other than you need to learn this part of history.
Yeah. Eddie Redmayne's just hoping that nobody goes to see Jupiter Ascending before they vote for the Oscars.
That's right. So there's our top 10 list.
There's our top 10 list. I had a few honorable mentions.
There is no other imitation to Imitation Game.
That didn't work. That failed. That failed hard. I had a few honorable mentions. A movie that was on my list until I saw Selma was Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt.
Great action.
Great fun. Great movie. A lot of fun. I mean, that movie was
extreme amount of fun,
and it was a surprise as well.
But I don't know this movie you speak of, because I believe it's called Live, Die, Repeat.
I know.
You keep calling it Edge of Tomorrow.
It didn't do well in the theaters, unfortunately. But I mean, anybody who sees this movie is like, man, this movie is really good. It's like,
yes, it is.
It is. It's great.
Maybe if you listen to the
Hodgepodge podcast,
Doug and Dirty A show, you'd know what the fuck we're talking about.
I already mentioned it earlier. X-Men: Days of Future Past. Loved it. I thought it was great. But at the same time, I was like, I can't really have two comic book movies in. Like, technically, Snowpiercer is a comic book movie, but I'm like, I can't really have two comic booky movies in there. And a movie we reviewed just recently, Top 5, Chris Rock's movie. That was also my honorable mention group. Top 5 was hilarious.
Super funny movie.
And that's still in theaters right now. If you can catch Top 5, definitely check that out. It's funny.
I have some honorable mentions as well that I'll throw in there. One major list, Lego Movie.
Okay.
Super funny movie.
Yeah.
One of the funniest of the year.
Yeah.
Dom Hemingway. I loved
Dom
Hemingway is an underrated movie. I'm telling you what. It's an extremely good movie, and Jude Law really played the hell out of that part.
Yeah, he was good.
I watched that again recently and laughed again, all over again. Begin Again.
Yeah, you like that movie a lot.
I really like Begin Again.
It's a good movie,
and I think it's because of my natural thing with music.
You just like Keira Knightley.
I don't. Yeah, maybe I just like Keira Knightley. No, but it was a good movie, and it was a real poignant movie.
No, it was. It was good.
The writer director who did Once before. If you haven't seen Once, you should check that out. It's equally as good. Frank, also extremely funny movie. Probably the quirkiest movie of the year.
Hands down. Hands down.
And then also to round that off, I'll mention the Birdman, who I mentioned at the top of the.
Yeah, Birdman was good. I gave that a B+.
I'm sorry, I mean Birdman, The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. Full title.
Nice. I think Birdman's going a little bit wider coming up. I might go check it out again. I might, because it was really funny. It was a funny movie.
Yeah.
It was good. But there you have it, folks. There's our best films of 2014. These are the only 2 lists that you should ever look at.
Ever. I was telling my family about my list earlier, and they're like, haven't heard of that one. I don't know that one. I don't know what you're talking about.
They made a Captain America movie?
That wasn't on my list.
I know it was on my list. Because my list is the true list.
I mean, if you have Captain America on there, it's not. I'm just saying. It's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Yes, that'll do it. Next episode, we will be discussing, as we mentioned, American Sniper.
And
breaking that down.
And another.
And Black Hat, starring Thor.
No, it's good.
Yeah, it's great. You should go see it.
That.
So we will see you next time.